Hey, it's Lee Prescott. We're talking flock. This is a little overview on how you get to use public record to do your own research or to review things that people have already been looking at. So public record requests can be made, and it looks like this. You get to either do a search or you can make a request. And when you make a request, just we demystify the process, all you need to do is say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And it can be any kind of government contract. It can be an email exchange. I'm going to show you a bunch of different options that people have done in Prescott. You put your name in and phone number and that kind of thing. It will become public record. They do like this thing of saying, is it for commercial purposes? You know, when you're doing your own stuff as a resident citizen, no, that's no big deal. You say this is not for commercial purposes. And then you can go ahead, and if they want to charge you for something, they'll let you know that there's a fee, and then you can decide if you want to pay it or not. But what you get to do is when you go to all requests, you get to see all the public record requests pretty much ever made, I would think. Anyway, we'll have to dive into that concept. But you've got closed as well as open. You can play with that. And then once you go inside them, you can actually start to figure out how this kind of thing works. I happened to look at this one earlier, and I was really excited to see how many documents got returned. So here were the release documents. And if you click this, that's how you get to see them. So then all of these things will come up. And I had a bunch of them open earlier. We can close that now. Let's see. Looks like a repeat. This was one of the requested items. So a view of where in Prescott we have these video cameras and still cameras and that kind of thing. Here's the contract. I was going through this. This is a really important part of understanding what this all means. Contract law is going to guide all of this information between Flock, it's called Flock Safety, and City of Prescott. And you'll have signature blocks. You'll see the amounts of money. This is a dated contract. It's much higher than that now, but you can really see how it works. So whereas, they decide to provide this kind of information, this footage. See, look at this, by the way. I think this is really important. For automatic license plate, video and audio detection through Flock's technology platform. See, isn't that interesting? For those of us who think of license plates and just this item that just appears, this is really connecting to a lot of information. This is an Atlanta, Georgia company. And again, what we want to understand is that the contract is going to really guide what's considered aggregated data to their support services, to their different types of products. They all get wrapped into these contracts. And one of the contracts I saw really had the only way to use this, authorized use, had to do with it being used for evidence collection. There's a lot of talk also about this part right here, liability, indemnification. That's a big part of the contract there. Here's the term, how long it lasts. I had contacted to find out the exact dates for installation because I wanted to know when things actually started. I didn't really get a final answer on that as far as I can recall, but I think it's in play now. But you can see things like agency data, proprietary information. In fact, maybe I'll make this a little bigger and maybe I'll be able to find this. It is fine print, I will tell you. But if you enlarge it, you can start to see things. So there's confidentiality that they talk about in this contract. Obligations, hazardous conditions, your standard stuff, right? In some ways. But remember, this is all of us in Prescott being part of this product and this service. And again, certainly does seem like a lot of surveillance, especially with the audio, video. And you can see, again, who retains rights. So they've got their embedded software license. There's just a lot of moving parts to this. And The fact that there was not a public hearing on this is really what bothers a lot of people, myself included. Let me see if I can find this part of the contract. Here it is. Under usage restrictions Flock IP, the permitted purpose for usage of the Flock hardware, agency hardware, documentation services, support, and Flock IP are solely to facilitate gathering evidence that could be used lawful criminal investigation by the appropriate government agency. This got cut off, but it goes smaller, used in a lawful criminal investigation by the appropriate government agency. I just want to highlight that one of the things I'm really learning is watching business reform and how many acts of authorized government agencies showing up at people's houses and saying, I'm 100% sure that you stole this, or 100% sure of this or that, all because of this Flock hardware, agency, documentation, services, support, and IP. All of it is giving them the sense of incredible confidence in saying and accusing. Before there's a hearing, before there's any other thing, they're absolutely able to jump in. So this was a key critical part of something I wanted to showcase. Again, public record, all these little red tabs up here, all public record requests, and you will see an incredible array of correspondence between those at Flock and then those who work for our city. And what's interesting too is ADOT required special permits, right? All kinds of things, but we were never notified.